Tip controlled by Stanford. Tess Heel will run the point guard position for the Cardinal. Solana Lapolo, the normal starting point guard, is unavailable today. Other than that, it's the starting lineup for Stanford they've used in every game. Agara is the superstar down low. Harriel's been shooting it well, and Bosgana, the slasher from Greece, as on cue, Janiyah fouled on her way up. She gets 2 free throws.
You know, Kate Pay talks a lot about being aggressive offensively, putting it on the floor and attacking the bucket because they're so good from beyond the arc that people really lean in forward and then you just go right at them.
First year in charge for Kate Pay. But as we've mentioned on previous broadcasts, she was literally born at Stanford Hospital, grew up at Maples Pavilion. That's the first time you met Tara Vanderveer. She said it was a month after she was hired. I came here to basketball camp. Harriel, 1 out of 2 at the line.
She's already made more free throws this season than she did all of last year.
Oh, by the way, she's shooting 59% from deep. Here's the lineup for the Tritons. Gracie Gallegos, one of their stars at 7 points a game. She's unavailable for UCSD. Spriggs down low, blocked by Dimitri. Agara all the way herself, gets it to go.
Stanford aggressive in the early going, taking it to the bucket.
Cardinal are 3rd in the country, over 44% from 3-point range. And the one game they lost against Indiana, talking to the coaches after that game, Indiana was not letting them shoot 3. Stanford made just 2 threes in that game. They only attempted 11, so the scouting report would become to try to deny the 3-point shot against the Cardinal.
Yeah, no doubt. They don't have the commanding inside presence that they did a year ago.
On opening night, it was a school record 18 threes against Lemoyne for the Stanford.
That's all it would take for a coach to watch and say, we got to shut that down.
Agara from the corner knocks down a 3, and she's got 5 early on. I was joking on the first broadcast. Tara Vanderveer sitting up there saying, I coached 1,000 games here, and they can never hit 17, 18 threes for me. What did I do wrong? All the way to the hoop with contact, in and out. Nice defense there from Dimitri as Samaya Shigapan, one of the leading scorers, over 10 points a game for UCSD. Couldn't get it to go. There's that fadeaway little mini jumper from Dimitri. This time it's off. Sabrina Ma from San Francisco is the player of the year in the city. Long 3 for Sigapong's off, and Heel gets the board. Numbers for Stanford. Bosgana knocks down a 3, 42% from deep, and already a timeout as it's 9-0 Stanford, 2 threes early on.
And Bosgana, when she's off to a great offensive start, usually good things follow. A terrific start for Stanford.
Early 9-0 lead for Stanford. UC San Diego, they're 1-6, Mary, but those 6 losses have all been close.
They haven't gotten blown out this season. You lose to Arizona by 11. You hold Arizona to 65 points, but 3 overtime losses, including a double OT. So 3 of the last 4 in overtime. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and you just have to maintain your focus and attention to detail.
Dimitri all the way down off the pass from Harriel. UC San Diego, they went to the Colorado trip, lost to Air Force and Denver, both in overtime. That was their last 2 outings. First bucket of the night for the Tritons, for Janae Mahan.
Great to have her back. She's been out the last 3 games in concussion protocol.
8 points a game for the sophomore from Stockton is Heel in the back cuts.
That's part of the evolution for Tess Heel, is moving without the basketball, not having to put the ball on the floor to score. Great job there. That's the kind of stuff Stanford loves to run.
Cardinal force a turnover again. Elena all the way down, lefty layup.
Turnovers are a real issue for UC San Diego. They're at like 21 a game, and against a team like Stanford, they will make you pay.
That was the 3rd turnover, and before I could finish that sentence, there's the 4th, though Mahan steals it right back. Ma gave it up, cross-court pass. Nikki Polacek, her first attempt is off.
It was a nice open look. Looked good going up, just doesn't go down.
Bosgana has an open look. Stanford is 3 for 3 from deep.
And we talked about it early. When Elena comes down and gets hot early, it's like her hand's on fire.
8 in the first 4 minutes for Elena Bosgana. In the post, Ma went to St. Ignatius High School in San Francisco. Long two-pointer, good for Polacek.
She missed the three, comes right down the next possession, and is eager to just get the ball and take another shot. Good looking shooter.
14-point lead for the Cardinal. Nunu in that pinch post. Both teams run pretty much the same offense.
Very much so. The scout wasn't tough.
Wow, nice little move there. Nunu puts it up with the foul.
So if you're going to foul in that situation, foul hard enough that the shot doesn't go in.
Nunu is leading Stanford in pretty much everything. Points, rebounds, assists.
And she really does it in this cylinder so much of the time. From the high post extended, putting it on the floor. And it's one of the things she's doing so much better than a year ago, staying tight with the basketball and delivering at the rim.
Over 30 minutes a game for Nunu. Last year was about 13 and a half. And that's the story, not just for Stanford, but for every team. You know, you've seen it for years, Mary. Teams, you lose your best scorers, you lose your upperclassmen, and other people have to step up. Ma, pump fake, step back, three. No good for the San Jose State transfer. Saw a bunch of her old teammates in St. Ignatius jackets walk into the Maples.
Great help rotation by UC San Diego.
Jump ball to go to the Tritons. 20-4, Stanford leads UC San Diego. You know, we've talked about it at length. Stanford lost 3 starters. They lost the #2 pick in the draft, an All-American in Kiki Arioff and a Hannah Jump, and then they don't have Talana Lopolo, so it's pretty much one starter returning for the Cardinal.
Indeed, but it's a team that is eager to play well and play well together. And this is a team that they're not going to have a dominant score. They're going to have 4 or 5 double-figure scores once they hit ACC play.
20-4 Stanford early. Here's Mary Ashley Stevenson. Great cut. Bosgana lays it up and in on a dime from Stevenson.
And her play just continues to progress. Had such a great freshman year at Purdue before transferring to the Farm.
Shea Jawoye in for the first time, and talk about great years. Chloe Clardy is just into the game as well. Nunu draws the foul. Stanford, Chloe Clardy wasn't a transfer, but she had 2 threes all of last year. She's already hit 3 so far. She hit 3, opening night, and she is shooting it so well.
She really is. She's at about 44% so far from 3, but it's her aggressiveness, whether she's putting it on the floor or taking the 3. She can defend at a high level. She's got great length at 5'9" defensively.
2 free throws here for Nunu. He's at least 15 in all but 1 game thus far for the Cardinal. Makes the first free throw.
But what a great year Nunu had last year when you're playing behind Kiki, just observing every day, checking her in practice, what that does for your game and your progression. You bring that to the table this year. It was a real gift for her.
Courtney Ogden, first time she's in for the Cardinal. The number 10 overall recruit last year, and Brooke Dimitri back in for Stanford. Rosa Smith, her first action for the Tritons, brings it up. Screen up top from Svoboda, and they'll call Ogden there for a foul.
Well, the challenge for these 4s and 5s for Stanford is just to be able to guard the perimeter, and they're going to have to go inside against much bigger players over the course of this year and be able to defend in there as well without fouling.
This is a Stanford team that for years and years, you're coming to the Farm and watching, calling these games. It always was one of the biggest teams in the country, and this year, not a lot of size on Stanford.
Indeed.
Ijuoye is just a relentless defender, affects the shot, and Dimitri gets the rebound.
She gets it and wants to go and go fast.
She is a dynamo on and off the court. They love having her here at Stanford. Polacek stole it away. Sugapan is blocked And there's a foul on Dimitri. Or pardon me, on Bosgana they'll get for that one. Well, they showed 20, 21. Yeah, Elena's not on the floor. It's on Dimitri.
It's her first foul. Brooke Dimitri's foul trouble in that Indiana game really hurt Stanford. Sat for so much of that first half when she got 2 early fouls.
First is off for Sycopon. Officiating crew: Puliani Spurlock, Carla Fountain, Jeff Wooten. Sycopon 74% at the line, leads Tritons in shots attempted. And the rebound off the misses from Brooke Dimitri, who Stanford, it's not just offensive. Defensively, they are asking so much of her this year. Stevenson, strong to the hoop, and she's fouled.
The thing about Mary Ashley, she will not back down from anybody. You want to get physical with her, she's like, bring it. I'm coming right back at you.
When you talk to these coaches, I was asking about some of the transfers, and when I asked about Mary Ashley Stevenson, every single coach's face lit up, and Kate Page just said, she's awesome. That's the first thing she said about her.
Yeah, she was a terrific get, and to be able to transfer from Purdue to Stanford just shows you really just what a great student she is.
10 points, 4 of 4 shooting last time out. She's had 3 assists or more in the last 2 games, as we call her MA. Mary Ashley makes both.
And that's a big switch from a year ago. Her assist-to-turnover ratio last year was not good. She turned it over a lot. This year, she has flipped that script completely. She's on the plus side, and they need her to be that facilitator because the posts for Stanford do a lot of passing and making reads.
Stanford, again, they don't have Talana Lopolo tonight, and that's been the third year would be for her as a starting point guard, so different players are having the ball a little bit more. Grace Talbot, 5'7" guard. Into the game, Spriggs called for a traveling, turnover number 5. There you see Talana. I mean, you never see someone start as a freshman at the point guard position at Stanford, and she did it and was an all Pac-12 performer.
She has had a great career. Need to get her healthy.
You don't want to leave Harrell open. That one's just short. Offensive board to Stevenson. Extra pass. 13 on the shot clock. And Spriggs, nice job to tip it away to Polacek. Talbot showed it to Harrell, who then gets knocked over trying to pass it out.
Boy, with that face guard on, hitting the floor, and having people come land on top of you, that is some scary stuff.
Jump ball. See that Shania's got a mask on. She actually playing pickup at home up in Sacramento, hurt her nose, and she said if the nose hasn't been healing 100% right, and she's kept it on. And I think also, Mary, she's shooting 59% from deep.
Good look, little Rip Hamilton look to it.
And you're shooting 59% from deep, you don't change anything.
I agree with that. Just that she would get on the floor considering her nose, that is being a tough basketball player.
A bunch of siblings. One of her brothers played for Troy Taylor, the Cardinal football head coach at Sac State. Heel, they will count it. She gets the continuation.
You know, we were talking before the game about her getting to the free throw line, and you can see that right there, just really playing physical.
But last year, she was 4th in the country in free throws made, and the who's who of women's basketball were the only people that made more than her. Juju Watkins, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. Those are the only people that made more free throws than Tess last year.
I mean, the numbers are just profound. 191 makes on 219 attempts, shooting 87%.
You don't believe in the broadcaster's jinx, do you?
I do not.
She's 8 for 8, perfect at the free throw line this year since she's come to Stanford. Didn't score in back-to-back games. In the last 2, Tess has had 14. Meha, off balance, long 2, tipped rebound off of Bosgana's dome, and Harrell gets to it. Shania gives up the three. Stanford reset into this modified Princeton set. 25-point lead for the Cardinal. Too strong for Dimitri. One was lost into the backcourt. Over and back.
A nice job by Stanford in transition to make sure they're covering that three-point line. They don't go into the paint and then try to recover back out.
It seems like, at least to my untrained eye, that Stanford's playing a little bit quicker this year and pushing the ball more off of misses off the other team.
Well, there's no doubt that they have to do that. I mean, they did a great job of running with Kiki and Cam in the lineup as it is bombs away from three.
4 for 6 for Stanford, and ho-hum, Elena is 5 for 5 from the field with 13 in the first quarter.
We talked about if she makes that first one, it is just lighting the torch.
Tess Heel called for that one. 13th foul against Stanford. You see Tess Heel, she was one of the leaders last year in terms of the country in usage rates. It's the amount of time she uses a possession between shots and turnovers, and it's been a different role for her this year.
There's no doubt, it's going to take time, but you can see it coming. Same thing for Bosgana. Her career high for threes made is 4, which you see her make 3 in the first quarter. Like, how is that even remotely possible?
Basically, every Stanford player this year has established a new career high, including Elena Bosgana in terms of points. Another turnover, 8th. Extra pass. Elena. Look at the ball movement.
Good defense.
Sigapon, pull up, free throw line jumper short. About a 4-second difference between the shot and game clocks. 32 for Stanford.
Very active hands by Rosa Smith there. She'd seen that backdoor cut a couple times in practice.
And Stanford 2017, they switched to this modified Princeton style. They learned a lot from UC Davis, and Tara leaned a lot on her younger sister, Heidi. There's Kate Pay, who was one of the big minds behind installing this new offense. Tara had been known as the master of the triangle for years and switched up the offense a few years ago. Sigapon leaves off for Spriggs. Good active hands from Harriel. It's out of play, 2.8 seconds left. UCSD will keep it.
Tough first quarter for Spriggs. 0 for 1. A turnover and a foul. Just has really not been able to get a solid touch.
You see San Diego, that one would count, a little bit short. And for Spriggs, and a totally dominant first quarter for Stanford. Stanford shooting.
The thing that really stands out for this team is how they share the ball. Even Harriel, who has been so dynamic shooting the 3 this year, giving up open looks for better looks.
Stanford 79% shooting in the first quarter of play. 4 for 6 from deep, 6 for 8 at the free throw line.
And life's going to change real quick next week when this Stanford team has to go to LSU, and the following week, after finals, they have to go to Cal for their first ACC team or game. So this game, you're not going to feel this Stanford team back down in any way, shape, or form, because every person that comes onto the floor wants to perform at a high level so they can grab up some minutes.
There were 2 fouls in 16 seconds against Chloe Clardy, so she's going to have to probably sit the rest of the first half. Normally Stanford will be off next week, but it's the SEC ACC challenge. So the Cardinal will go to Baton Rouge to face off with a very good LSU team. Spriggs short, and Stevenson collects the board.
Yeah, nice box out. The push ahead.
Great extra pass, heel, head fake. Totally unselfish basketball.
Absolutely.
Heel 3, good. But last year, Tess Hill was under 28% from deep. So far this year, Mary, she's 8 for 12 from deep.
Yeah, just a great start for her. 3 assists, no turnovers, knocked down the big 3.
Spriggs is off. Hill gets the rebound. She told me when she went to Australia in the offseason, that's the #1 thing she worked on. She said, I had to become a better three-point shooter.
Well, it's going to open up that drive and the ability to get back to that free throw line where she's so dynamic.
Hill to the hoop. Lefty layup's good.
And just a great example of Mary Ashley Stevenson running the show. You could tell her motioning people to go where, and that movement and changing sides of the court what opens up Hill for that drive.
8 assists on 13 makes. I mean, we could look at any Stanford stat and say that's really good. That's another one. Mahan steps into a long 3, air ball untouched.
So important for UC San Diego to just stay in the mindset to work on the offensive end like you would on the defensive end to get an open shot. You can't start bailing out early because, gosh, we haven't scored in a while. I'm just going to try to jack this up and hope it goes in.
And you see Heidi Vanderveer. She's the youngest. Beth, Marie, and Nick are the middle kids. For Rita, who's 97, she came to the court unveiling for Tara Vanderveer, the oldest of the 5 Vanderveers. Rita asked Tara, why isn't Heidi coming? Can't she like cancel her game or just skip it? Here's Brooke Dimitri, who knocks down a shot.
Zone defense by UC San Diego, and Brooke Dimitri just parked right in the middle of that thing, and they find her and she gets an open look. Nice drive.
Another board for the Cardinal, plus 12 rebounding. Stanford is 14 for 17 from the field. Nunu strong to the hole.
I like that strong because you could see her just squeeze it and then just power right through it.
Nunu Agara exploding to the hole. She's in a double figures with 11. Stanford is up 41-4. Kevin Satia, who runs the Jimmy V Sports Cafe that made the Thanksgiving dinner. And there's so many connections. We saw Vanessa Nygaard taking a picture there. Former Stanford great, former WNBA head coach who is on the staff here for the Tritons.
Unpaid volunteer assistant, we'd like to emphasize.
Dimitri, 3, ball short. Ogden flying in for the rebound. Stavi Papadaki, a junior from Greece. This might be the earliest she's come into a game in her Stanford career. Ijuwoye went up, big block. Sikapan got her. Mahan gives up the 3, off balance, jumper rattles in. First bucket in about 7 minutes for UC San Diego.
Nice job of moving the basketball, head fake, get yourself a little comfortable. Come away with some points.
Heel steps into the 3, rattles it in. Heel's got 13, Bosgana's got 13, Agara's got 11.
Now, the month of November has been good for Tess Hill. Just the steady progress from where she was to where she's going to head into December when she goes down to LSU.
Tess Hill, she had back-to-back games where she didn't score, which I guarantee that's never happened in her entire life. And what she's responded with is 14 points, 14, and then tonight, already 13. Call that on Ijuwoye, freshman from Arizona, who just is relentless defensively. And the staff was telling me she is really strong, they were telling me, which you don't normally see in a freshman.
It's a great matchup to watch. These two are really going at it.
Sikapan through the screen. I was just mentioning. That was a fun possession to watch.
Just a tough player, 5'7", the sophomore out of San Diego, attended La Jolla Country Day, and to say there's been a couple great players out of La Jolla Country Day would certainly be an understatement.
Ijuwoye 3, short. Ogden has been doing some serious work. A little bit off there for Courtney. Sikapon just short. Stanford up by 36.
Sikapong's just doing a better job of sort of grabbing the tempo for her team, saying, all right, we're going to run, now we're going to slow it down, finding some gaps.
Mary Ashley back in. Short breather there for Heel. Juwoye, freshman, top recruit out of Arizona. Very fast, and then you're saying she can light up a room.
Yeah, she really adds a whole nother dimension to this team on the floor.
On cue, Shea's three, short. Ogden the rebound.
You mentioned Ogden's rebounding. And all over the O-boards. Nice pass.
Saw some of the explosiveness from Shea. Just couldn't finish it down low. Good job by UC San Diego. Stanford's made just one of the last 7 attempts. Stepping into a 3 right wing, too strong for Parker Montgomery, a grad student.
The challenge is just to knock down some shots.
What a pass. Dimitri couldn't get it to go. Spriggs saves it to Sikapong. Montgomery takes a 3, couldn't get it to go, and both teams struggling a little bit here. Shea, maybe see the hustle.
Exactly right. 5'6" freshman out of Phoenix, Desert Vista High School. It's on the floor, and so is she.
We're talking about off the air, you know, we asked the coaches about these freshmen, and Kate Pay, if a player has played at Stanford, Kate Pay knows who they are, and knows their profile, knows everything about them. And she was like, I don't remember us having a player like Shea. 5'6", as you mentioned. She's really strong, super quick. Stevenson.
That is Mary Ashley Stevenson right there. The change of direction, the power. She is bringing the physicality to the defender.
An example of everything went right until just the last little piece.
It's going to come together, but I love the way she attacks.
Gabby Luther in for UC San Diego for a moment. She just checked out for Ma. Has the ball. Lefty shot underneath Stevenson, and it's short. Ujuoye, a couple of boards. Here's Harper Peterson, really long shooter from the Sacramento area.
That's one of those, Elena, where are you going?
Papadaki steals it away. Stavi all the way down.
To say she's a crowd and team favorite would be an understatement. 5'11" senior out of Greece. It's her second basket of the year.
Her third here at Stanford. Spriggs is fouled on her way up. I mean, for Cardinal a couple years ago, they had like 10 McDonald's All-Americans, and for Stavi, she's waited her turn and looking good here.
Getting out in transition, makes a tough layup.
Say one of her compatriots, Barry Lithikoti, pardon me, another Greek international on the floor. We had 3 Greeks on the floor at one time. Here's Kennedy Ume, freshman who hails from Columbia, Maryland. She's got 23 points and 15 rebounds in 24 minutes played this year. It's about a point a minute. She had a double-double in 10 minutes against Morgan State. You've seen Kennedy. What do you like about her?
I just like the way she handles herself. She's been rebounding well. She posts tough. And we look at Spriggs at the free throw line. This is just such a great opportunity to get comfortable. She made the first one so that when you return to the offensive end, you just bring some confidence with you.
That foul's against Stevenson. Spriggs, that's her first 2 points. She's a transfer from CSUN, double figures in the last 5 games.
Good decision. No reason to have an adventure with the ball there.
One thing they say about Kennedy, she loves to pass it on cue to Bosgana.
Well, you called that like before it even happened.
Once every like 30 games, I'm right. That's the scouting report on Ume. For a freshman, they said they'd never seen a big just love to pass it like she does. Long 2-pointer off for Montgomery. Here's Shea's 3rd rebound. Come on, how nice is it when Shea gets the board and she can get it into the offense? A little sloppy in this quarter for both teams. Montgomery lays it up and in. CSD's kind of changed their defense up a little bit in this quarter.
Well, Stanford was also just driving into a crowd, and the effect is a turnover going the other way. Their spacing early had been just impeccable.
Montgomery, 2-on-1, bounce pass, wide open. Layup in for Blith Quixote.
We mentioned what a great matchup this has been. The game within the game at the point guard position. These two have been checking each other and just getting aggressive.
And Sigapon's taking a bigger role. She's just a sophomore, but leadership-wise, she's matured a lot over the offseason. I mean, you see San Diego, they're playing a lot of sophomores, 2 transfers, and again, it is so hard, Mary. You see so much college basketball around the country, men and women. There's so many changes with every roster every year.
And that's just the way it is, and you certainly just have to accept that. And every year when everyone shows up for camp in summer, you just have to be on a steep learning curve.
So that was an offensive foul. Stanford is past the limit for the final 47 seconds. Stay tuned, we'll have the ACC halftime report, and then we'll have a special guest at the start of the 3rd quarter. Tara Vanderveer will join us. 34-point lead for the Cardinal.
A lot of length in the perimeter for Stanford defensively.
Bosgana all over Ma, forces a turnover. Papadaki with the shot clock off is bumped into by Ma. That was an aggressive little bump.
Foul, wasn't it?
But what you were saying earlier, Mary, if you're going to foul somebody and they're growing up, you better foul them.
Worth, yep.
A lot of people above the UC San Diego bench wearing those signature St. Ignatius jackets. Sabrina Ma went there, went to San Jose State for 2 years. Here's Stavi Papadaki, who has talked to anybody on this program. She has worked her tail off to get better, get playing time.
Right, so for her, these minutes are everything. The opportunity to be in, it's not mop-up time. This is prime time basketball.
She's played now about 40 minutes this year, and that's approaching the 60 she played last year. Well, Shea just fell asleep. Sigapon all the way down. Shot clock was off. Shea was looking back at the bench, and Sigapon just picked her pocket. Shea trying to get back at her. Peterson blocked. The second effort is off. Well, give credit to UC San Diego. They turned up the defensive intensity in the 2nd quarter. Start up the 2nd half. Tess Hill, one of the transfers on the Cardinal, one of the 2 transfers with Tara Vanderveer. Her name is on the court, as you can see. Is that pretty cool to see her signature out there?
I should have probably signed a little better than that one, but you know, it's an honor. Nice shot by Nunu, knocking down the 3, picking up right where she left off.
How much do you think playing with Kiki Iriafen for your guarding Kiki every day in practice did for Nunu this year?
Well, it wasn't just Kiki, obviously. It was Kiki and Cam. You know, they, I think, learned a lot from great potential first-round draft pick players. And also just Nunu came in from a great program in high school, and She's really a confident player, and she's playing really well and getting a lot of opportunity. I just like, I just like their passing, their cutting, the pace they're playing with.
Yeah, it's something that has really stood out over the course of this young season is just their assist-to-turnover ratio. How many people give assists during the course of a ball game?
Well, you know, some of it is their unselfishness and their team-first attitude.
Stanford up big. You have not retired. You have got a lot going on, and you're really excited about the class you have here at Stanford.
Yeah, I'm going to teach a continuing ed class. We've got so many great guests coming, including like Stanford greats from men's and women's basketball, Casey Jacobson, Jennifer Azzi, Sonia Henning, the Agumake sisters. Oh, nice shot. And also, Steve Kerr is coming in person, so it's going to be very exciting.
Mahon's got 6. That leads UC San Diego. Stanford's up 35. Are there any things, you have a little bit, you know, the fans at home, first of all, Coach, you know, you had hip surgery, so the fans at home, how's your hip doing and how are you feeling?
Tim, thanks for asking. It's doing very well. You know, everyone says, you know, hip surgery is easy. Maybe it is compared to knee surgery, but it's not easy.
17 points for Elena, who is approaching her career high, 19.
Yeah.
But now you have a little bit more time, other than, you know, the hip coming back from that. Anything else you've gotten into?
Well, I'm working on, with other Stanford coaches, kind of the Stanford way, a book about Stanford. Nice shot, Elena.
20, a career high.
Wow. She's really letting it go. You know, working on the excellence of Stanford and other coaches, someone like Dick Gould, who won 18 NCAA championships.
Nice move by Spriggs. She needed that. She did. Struggling a little bit.
She did. They had some good shots early, and you know, just didn't make them, and then got discouraged. But
I know you're impressed with the crowd here today, considering everything else that is going on. Soccer is just across the way.
Right, women's soccer is playing Notre Dame in an NCAA tournament, and football right down the road. Men's soccer is at Ohio State, I think tomorrow. So, well, UC San Diego looks like they're getting just a little more flow, you know, just a little more comfort with playing out here. I know they're, you know, they've dug themselves a really big hole that seems impossible to get out, but just play hard.
That's exactly right. Just play every possession right.
Right. And don't do that. Well, there they go. They end up getting a steal.
Modest hit a 3. Huge roar from the crowd from San Francisco. There's a 3 off for Polachek.
Oh, nice. That's 2 boards in a row, too, or 2 out of the last 3 plays.
Yesterday was a very special day. The teams came together for Thanksgiving dinner. UC San Diego will get it, but what was yesterday like to experience? You've had a lot of different Thanksgiving experiences, normally like in Las Vegas, maybe Florida, maybe Hawaii, but to be here with your family, what was it like?
Well, it was the first time we've ever had, I think, Thanksgiving dinner with another team. You know, in terms of, you know, just us with them, and it was really fun. It's not just Heidi, obviously my sister, but Vanessa, who played at Stanford.
Well, Triton's on a 7-0 run, and Mary, since that first quarter, it's been a lot more competitive.
It really has been. Stanford just +5 since the first quarter, so a much more settled UC San Diego team.
3 straight away. Back iron, no good. That was a timeout from Kate Pay. Trying to get her team refocused. Sigapon's off. Another offensive rebound. And UC San Diego's hit the boards hard in the second half.
They have, and in that situation, Brooke Dimitri, if you're on the losing end of that box out, you got to let it go. Her fouls are too important for tacking that one on the total. You know, so interesting sitting here with Tara, like Janiyah Harriel like waves at her, and officials are coming over and saying hi.
That was a second on Brooke. Kajuoye lost that of play. That Indiana game that Stanford lost, Shea played the entire fourth quarter, and she brought a punch that Stanford really needed on the road.
Yeah, she certainly energizes this team. But her team's got to get used to that kind of energy and how to respond with it, and how to run with it, how to defend with it.
Ma down for Spriggs against Dimitri. Good defense. One of the advantages of Stanford this year, players like Nunu Agara, really any of the five, can get the rebound and go up quick.
Exactly right. Good versatility. Nice pass.
Great closeout from Mahan.
Great hustle defensively.
Spriggs blocks it out of play. That's our Vandiver, friends with Steve Kerr, said Steve's going to come speak to her class, and Stanford's look like the Warriors a bunch in terms of their cuts and just the ball constantly moving.
Nobody watches or watched more basketball than Tara Vandiver.
Talking to her over the years all the time, she'd watch a Warriors game and say, I saw them do this little thing, I want to try to do it. Chloe couldn't beat the clock.
There's not a lot of thoughts that are brand new. A lot of it is stolen and then tweaked.
Nice turnaround from Sigapon. Neither team could score. Stanford's on a 2+ minute scoring drought. Polachek's three's off. Kajuoye goes to the floor again.
Tess Heel will be checking back in.
Stanford's offense has run a little bit smoother when Tess has been on the floor. Double team. Jump ball. Goes to UCSD.
Just their positioning defensively much better. The help and recover. They're flying around. They're just really causing some problems for Stanford.
First quarter, Stanford was 11 for 14. They were shooting the lights out. And since that point, Stanford's been about 40% from the field.
Well, in that first quarter also, Bosgana had 13 points and was 5 for 5 from the floor and perfect from three. She made 3 of them. So she carried the day.
Elena's still perfect. She's 8 for 8 for a career high 20. See San Diego won for their last 8. Stanford has now not scored in over 3 minutes, so it's been a defensive stalemate. Elena to the lane was fouled as she went up, so she keeps her perfect night. That does not count as a field goal attempt. You've seen Elena for 4 years here at the table. What do you think have been some of the keys to her having an excellent 12 points per game this year?
For me, watch her just slow down. Sometimes she just, I think in her head, she just starts getting sped up, and I think she's doing a better job of seeing the whole floor, taking advantage of when is the time to shoot, when is the time to pass. This is the team that spreads the floor extremely well, so it's pretty obvious when you should be passing the ball and who's open.
Elena, one thing she's done really well this year is get to the free throw line, split the 2. 21, a career high in her 89th game in the farm. Oh, nice move there from Chloe. Dishes for Bosgana. Agara gives up the 3. Little baby jump shot. Short. And Mahan with the rebound. Offensive on Ma.
Ma's minutes in the first half were limited with foul trouble, and she's such an important part of this team. 4 personal fouls. This has not been the afternoon that she wanted.
She was the Chronicle San Francisco Player of the Year, played 2 years for San Jose State. It's her first year with UC San Diego.
She comes in averaging 10 points a game, shooting 38% from 3. You come to Stanford, the last place you want to spend any time is sitting on the bench.
And he's got about 20, 30 St. Ignatius Wildcat teammates or current players above the UC San Diego bench to root her on. Here's Chloe Clardy, has yet to score today, came in tonight, 9 points per game. That was her season high last year, was 9, and that's what her average is this year.
She helps this team in so many other ways. Nice aggressive move there. She's just scratching the surface. Once ACC season hits, I think her play is just going to accelerate. Excited to watch her grow. Great help by Heel. It's a tough make, isn't it?
Mahan and 1. He's got 8.
So we're really starting to appreciate sort of the tough-mindedness of this UC San Diego team. Just continuing to battle back.
Yeah, first quarter was 32-4, and I think a lot of other teams would have just kind of rolled over. But it's been +6 for Stanford since the first quarter, pending this free throw. Offensive rebound for the Tritons. First year as a full Division I team. They started the transition during the 2021 season. 3 left wing. Sigapon knocks one down.
I am so impressed with the way she defends, the way she leads, the decisions she makes on the floor. We see some full court pressure.
See, San Diego made a bunch of Division II tournaments while they were Division II. Heel keeps it alive. 13 on the shot clock for number 13, Clardy. Stevenson called for 3 in the key.
I didn't know if they'd restart the count because she really didn't have possession of the ball, kind of had to regather it.
Heidi Vanderveer, the sister of Tara, the youngest sister. Her coaching career started at Tennessee under Pat Summitt. And before the game, Kate Pay gave us a great quote from Pat Summitt in terms of what does Stanford need to do. Heidi, first person that she taught or coached under was Pat Summitt, but rebounding wins championships. Stanford rebounding has been a point of emphasis for them. Again, they're just a small team, and it's had to be the whole team's had to rebound. Last year, Stanford was one of the best rebounding teams in the country.
Not hard to do with Kiki and Cameron Brink. But in the first half, 11 different players on the Stanford team had a rebound. And Kate Pay talked to us about that too. It's got to be a gang rebound. Everyone boxes out, everyone goes and gets the basketball.
The leading rebounder for Stanford right now is 6 different players have 4, including Brooke Dimitri with some good defense there. Mahan with the shove. Bosgana, good defense.
It's just great defense.
And Mahan returns the favor with some good defense. Speaking of defense, Elena Bosgana, Pac-12 championship game, after Juju Watkins put up 50, a Maples record here, shut down Juju Watkins. It was a heroic effort from Elena in Las Vegas, the final ever Pac-12 game.
Well, if that 50 piece didn't get your attention, what a show that was. Were you on that game?
Yes. I have never seen an individual performance like that.
That was a lot of fun to watch.
Agara fouled on her way up. You think about all the great players over the years, women's basketball, men's basketball, that have played here at Maples, and Juju Watkins, as a freshman, put up that record as Nunu Agara comes in. But again, the job that Tara Vanderveer, Kate Pay, Tempe Brown, the whole staff, scouting-wise, second time she had her season low, and Elena Bosgana put in a Herculean effort as Nunu Agara makes the first free throw. There's Kate. I mean, one thing Stanford will do well under Kate Pay is defend. She was one of the best defensive guards in Stanford history.
And then she went and played in the WNBA for Brian Agler, and that'll teach you a lot about defense.
Talking about, Tara would bring up the best defensive guards ever. Roz Godon-Wude was Defensive Player of the Year in the Pac-12. Lacey Hull was an absolute menace defensively, but Kate Pay kind of started that tradition.
Lexi wasn't bad either.
She's doing a great job with the fever. There's some good defense from Elena Bosgana. She's 6'2", and she gives it away. That's the second time Sigapon's just kind of been hiding in the weeds and popped out for the steal.
She is just competing on every dribble, every possession.
Well, Stanford led by as many as 40, and it's down to 31. They're going to call a foul on Svoboda there. That's the 4th team foul on the Tritons.
Yeah, Stanford trying to get that magic back that they had in the first quarter. Here's the steal. Just a little bit too casual. Sigapon right there.
Little zone.
Was just wide open there. No one found her.
Dimitri, the turnaround and one.
Sometimes you just need to get it up there and let gravity do its job.
Brooke is really nice in terms of those little turnarounds.
Yeah, and the pass was beautiful as well. She just has really good vision.
Brooke, she was the number 11 recruit coming to Stanford, but as a big was just kind of behind Cameron Brink, Kiki Uriafen, all the great big Stanford's had over the years. Svoboda got hit in the eye there for a moment. About an 8-second difference between shot and game clocks. And Sigapon's foul, but you don't hear coaches say this very often, but Brooke Dimitri is a player Stanford has been asking, shoot the ball more. We want you to take on more offense. And a lot of the times the coach is like, maybe take a couple less shots, but not with Brooke.
Yeah, and it was interesting in the postgame after Morgan State, we talked to her about the Candace Parker move, the little step back. She just does it beautifully on the baseline and in the paint. She said, you know, I've always had it, sort of put it on ice for a couple years with, you know, everyone else we had on the team, and it's in my bag and I'm bringing it back out.
She had a few of those, kept Stanford in that game against Indiana in the 4th quarter. Sigapon makes both. 31-point lead for the Cardinal. Shot clock is off. Clardy in the corner. Agara, rhythm 3 at the buzzer, 2 strong. And the Tritons win the 3rd quarter, 2019. Stanford still holds on to a 31-point lead as we head to the 4th. 20 plus. Her 3 career highs, 19 points opening night against Lemoyne. She had 19, a big win over Washington State, and then 21 tonight.
But the challenge is you need this every night. It can't be here or there. This is a team that needs the consistency of their high-level offensive performers to bring it and score it. Zone defense.
At Stanford, they lost 3 starters, really all-timers.
That's exactly right.
Nice job by Sigapon to knock it down.
Isn't she?
She's got 13. But you lose 3 starters, the all-time leader in 3 points made, the 2nd overall pick in the draft, a player who's going to be a very high draft pick, and then Stanford just hasn't had Solana Lopolo a lot, beautiful. So players like Brooke Dimitri have stepped up. Brooks got 10, Heel 13, Bosgana 21, Agara 18. So that's 4 of the 5 in the starting lineup at double figures. Polacek off. Stanford shooting their season percentage, 44% from deep, 8 for 18. Bosgana, 3, got it! 9 for 9 for Elena, who's got 24.
Well, you think about her rounding into this kind of shape, test heel, and you just feel that steady progress. Chloe Clardy.
Here's Tess Heel. Dimitri just begging for the ball. She is feeling it. Stanford 15 assists on 27 makes. Now 48% from deep. Elena, 10 for 10. It's a perfect 10.
It's a great cut, but what a pass from Brooke Dimitri.
Timeout UC San Diego. It's a 7-2 start to the 4th, and the Cardinal increased the lead to 36.
Yeah, the 5'7" sophomore has had a great 2nd and 3rd quarter. Was scoreless in the 1st, but steals, assists, steady defensive presence, knocking down big shots. But it's just the way she plays, the way she approaches it. Out of La Jolla Country Day, the great Candace Wiggins, Kelsey Plum.
Mahan goes in there.
Happy to have her back. Big loss the 3 games she sat with the concussion protocol.
And she's got 10 away from the play. Foul was called against the Tritons. 34-point lead for the Cardinal. Stanford's led by as many as 40. And Kate Pay and company, the degree of difficulty will go up. They'll go
exponentially.
Number 7, LSU, will be the opponent next week. They'll need a big game from Nunu Agara in Baton Rouge, and Nunu puts it in there.
And 2 things that LSU does an exceptional job of is their field goal defense is 32%. So you really have to be shooting the ball well, taking care of the basketball, and they just pound the boards as well as anybody in the country. Right now, LSU 4th in the country in rebounding margin at plus 18.
Stanford has faced off with Kim Mulkey over the years, and those are 2 things Kim Mulkey teams do, defend and rebound.
Averaging 10,000 at home at Pete Maravich Center, correct?
Yep, Pete Maravich Assembly Center.
Assembly Center.
Me being the arena nerd, sorry Mary, I had to put that extra word in there, but that is going to be a giant test for Stanford, and then it'll be, so Stanford normally does not play next week. This is one of the wrinkles that's new with the ACC. Next week is the dead week. Normally Stanford does not play. They do have to play because it's the SEC ACC Challenge that everyone has to play in. And then the week after that's the end of finals, and they'll have Cal in Berkeley, and it is a much better Cal team this year for Coach Smith.
Well, it's just not that. That is the start of ACC play.
Stanford, if you're unfamiliar with the ACC, which is probably a lot of people, 18 teams in the league. You'll play 18 conference games, and Stanford will play Cal home and away. Everybody else 1 time. Agara off the baseball pass, lays it up and good. 22 for Nunu, approaching that career high of 25.
Or on this football Saturday, perhaps a football pass.
Well, that was a Hail Mary there, maybe from Ma. A 30-yard completion.
I think Ma's just excited to be out there. She has just been riddled with fouls in this ball game, limiting her minutes. The backdoor cut again. And if you're UC San Diego, you know it's coming. It's the same thing you run, but so difficult to stop.
Stanford has mastered it, thanks in good part to Heidi Vanderveer, who worked with her sister, older sister Tara, over the years on this Princeton offense. Heidi had some incredible teams at UC San Diego. She had an undefeated team in 2018. 3's off for Clardy. Sigapong, the Big West Freshman of the Year. Chloe tried to draw, and the referee gives the flop signal.
Wow, we have not seen the flop signal much, have we?
I love that. Let them play.
I agree.
Nice rip through for Nunu, and then Dimitri, I think away from the play. They're going to call her a foul on Ma. For the ACC, it is a different league. It's a little bit more athletic. Stanford played Duke last year here at Maples. That game went to overtime. They had to have a furious comeback against Florida State in Las Vegas. And then, of course, we didn't know it at the time. It ended up being the final game coached by Tara Vanderveer was against NC State in Portland. And NC State really gave it to Stanford.
Stanford will be on the road at Cal, at SMU, at Clemson, Wake Forest, at Duke, at Notre Dame, and at Louisville. And then Virginia Tech and Virginia.
On the give and go is off.
I like Ma's attitude. I'm back on the floor. I am going to use every second to make something happen. 5'10" junior guard out of San Francisco.
Went to San Jose State, who hasn't played here at Maples over the last few years. So this is her first time getting to play at Maples, and you can tell she's fired up.
Came into the game shooting 38% from 3. Just outstanding. A terrific free throw shooter. Whether she makes that one or not.
Don't blame us if you're family or friends of UC San Diego. We don't have that much power over here. Seconds in. You look at the ACC. Number 3, Notre Dame, who is just dynamite. At number 13, Duke. UNC at number 16. NC State's number 20. Louisville at 24.
But you can tell that so much of it's going to be matchups, where you play them, when you play them.
Sigabon, that one did not hit her foot. Nice spin move and layup.
I'm going to put her on the list of one of my new favorite players.
He has started all 38 games in La Jolla. That was the first player Heidi Vanderveer mentioned to me in terms of players to watch. Moving screen on Nunu, and that was drawn by, you guessed it, Sigapong.
Yeah, she is doing a great job. Tara really talked about it when she sat with us, just how this UC San Diego team just needed to get their composure back, but how challenging that is when you go down 32-4 in the first quarter.
And you've seen it happen over the years. When Stanford gets going here at home, it is an avalanche. But since that first quarter, it's been just +2 in favor of Stanford. In UC San Diego, 34-32. They're winning the second half.
Says a lot about the leadership over on the bench for UC San Diego. Tara Vanderveer, Vanessa Nygaard, the whole crew. The timely timeouts just to say, let's just get it back. And the way they ended the first half, so you can go to that locker room feeling uplifted and not just completely depressed by how you played.
Yeah, Heidi and Vanessa Nygaard both coaching WNBA. And those are kind of like pro-style timeouts that we saw. Try to stop a run. Ariel too strong as she thought Stevenson was going to shoot and stay at the 3, and Stevenson cut.
Boy, turnovers have been a real issue for Stanford. That's their 19th turnover of the game.
That will be at the top of the list for Kate Pay.
The tippy top of the list when you're heading to LSU.
You talk about avalanches. There will be, at least 10,000 there in Baton Rouge. Sigapong, another amazing steal, and the layup's good. It's her 5th steal of the game.
Just having a fantastic ball game.
19 points, all after the first quarter. Stanford's leads within 30, 28. Oh, there's the explosiveness, Ijiwaye. The last 4 games for Shea, including tonight, 10, 22, 15, now 13 minutes. She is playing more and more. Smith, bounce pass. Did keep it in, did Spriggs, but to the wrong team.
Guess who?
6 Smith, rhythm 3 and transitions off.
It's a new career high for steals for Singapore. At Stanford, a career high in steals. How about that?
I'm going to call Stevenson for an offensive. There's Harper Peterson. Dad Chance played at Gonzaga, 2-time All-States from Rockland, California, went to Whitney High School. 7th appearance today for Harper, and Kate Pay before the year telling me she kind of brings us something different. She's really long. She can shoot it. Sigapong. Oh, man. She's up to 21.
And she was 0 for 5 in the first quarter.
And it's not just the steals. By the way, there's another one. That's her 7th. It's 6 rebounds, 3 assists as well. the Big West Freshman of the Year. Ma goes in, blocked by Papadaki. Peterson, good defense, and she's fouled. So one big thing too, if you've been listening in, we said this is the first year that UC San Diego is a full Division I team. So they have 4 years they were in the Big West, but they were not eligible to play in the NCAA tournament as Ma fouls out. But the biggest thing with the transition is they will go to the Big West Championship and they will have a chance to compete for an NCAA tournament bid.
It's going to be interesting to watch them the rest of the way as they get healthy and be able to put these pieces together. But I would have to think Heidi Vanderveer very encouraged by her team, and another steal.
Hopefully Sigapong's okay. She went down
hit her
really
head
hard.
hard.
So 8th steal. Stanford was 5 on 4. So Vanessa Nygaard was kind of telling him, foul, foul. Papadaki went up. Great job by Spriggs as Ume knocks it out of play. It should be UC San Diego ball with 1:24 left in a 28-point game. They won't look at this. Does Samaya Sigapong, does she remind you of anybody?
Nobody is just jumping into my head, but she has really just flown around this floor and made life very difficult for Stanford.
When it comes to steals, maybe the Notre Dame guard, Hannah Hidalgo, that Stanford will face off with in South Bend, maybe.
She did quite a job against USC. Was that just last weekend?
I'm going to say I think so, because Thanksgiving week, Ijuwoye is off. It just like everything kind of like melts together these 2 weeks. That'll be one of the big challenges for Stanford. The biggest challenge will be at Notre Dame in terms of ranking. Minute left. Stanford a 32-4 first quarter is the difference right now. It's a 28-point game. Ume, nice spin move. She falls over. Stay tuned. We'll take a quick break and then have our player of the game. And if you've been paying attention, you know who it is. Ume gets the steal, coast to coast. Kennedy's fouled.
And the next time you'll see this Stanford team will be on ESPN2 at LSU.
Stanford has played just one road game at Indiana. That's going to be by design going forward because of the ACC travel. Stanford is scheduling less and less road games. They'll go up to Gonzaga and return that game in Washington State next year.
Such a great rivalry.
Stanford hasn't won up there in a while. It seems like, you know, up in the Kennel, I've been up there a couple times, and when that place is filled, whew. Stay at the Davenport, of course.
Of course.
Get some peanut brittle.
Beautiful holiday decorations there.
Stanford, it's in a hotel in Spokane. Stanford has not only stayed for Gonzaga games over the years, but over the years for Washington State games as well. And that will be a November trip. Scheduling very difficult here at Stanford because of the volleyball team and the NCAA tournament and finals week and dead week. It's a big challenge for the Cardinal. Harper gets the rebounds. Ijuwoye throws it up. Count it at the buzzer. 84-54. That, I think, is our final. We're going to have a review here, and looking at the look on Kate Pay's face, she might not be too happy with Jay Ijuwoye going up there. It was a bucket for Shea. There was a foul called.
And they're calling an offensive foul on Shea. 0.9 seconds left on the clock.
Well, they're going to change the call now, so there was a confusion at the scorer's table. They will say the bucket counts, and Shea should shoot one. Now, here's our first review with 9/10 of a second left in a
Yeah.
30-point game. Now, you've called a lot of games. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
No, I have not.
And this is why you come and watch a game till the end, because you will see something you've never seen every sporting event you ever come to. Juwoye misses. Ume throws it up. It's no good, and that'll do it. So a 32-4 first quarter powers the way for Stanford. 84-54. Cardinal victorious. We'll be joined by Elena Bosgana after the break. This is Stanford.